what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 What is going on, family? It's good to be back. It's good to be on here. Solo series coming through. I see it. Kerwin Bornell says, what's good, fam? We got the mod squad in the building. Thank you so much, Kerwin, for coming through. Hey, Stephen Woods is on the joint. I almost feel like pulling up a selfie. I got a chance to speak at a conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this past weekend, and I spent Saturday evening for the most part with Seesaw Studios. So got a chance to hang out with him, and he is in the comments. What's good, Steve? What's going on? Lakia Lewis is in the space. What's going on, Lakia? Always good to see you. Always good to have everybody coming through. We got about 9 people here with us today, and we're about to dive into remote production. That's the topic of today, remote production. That's my dude, Gary Jones. Gary Jones just did a show for me. He remote produced a show for me. Remote production is the title of tonight. Gary Jones just remote produced a show for me, for one of my clients this past Sunday, and he did a phenomenal job. So yeah. See, Seesaw Studios is saying it was a blast. You see, that was a tongue twister. You see, Seesaw Studios. Man, what's going on out there, fam? It is so good to be here with the family tonight. I feel like we're just gonna have our own personal session. I've got 4 tips and a bonus. 4 tips and a bonus. David Harvey official says, let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. I'm about to give you a wrench real soon here, David Harvey. Gary Jones says, I learn from the best. Where my comments at? Let me get my comments up on screen here. I learned from the best. Learned from the best. I like it. Okay, now I'm wondering where they at. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Gary Jones says, please like, share, comment, subscribe. I learned from the best, man. Listen, I'm so excited that you were able to come through and do that thing because that is so awesome. Yo, YHWH Warrior says, let's go. So listen, fam, if you're looking for remote production tips, tricks, best practices, you're in the right place. I will say, however, I've got 4 for you tonight and a bonus. 4 plus a bonus. So that's almost 5, but it's a little more than 5. You'll see that in a second. But I will say there is a online course for remote production, and I want to make sure you guys get a chance to check that out. It is at one of the links below, kirkarnugent.com/courses, kirkarnugent.com/courses. Oh, the collab with Keith was classic. Yo, listen, that exactly. What is he talking about? Let's get into it real quick. I want to show my screen. Let's go to the next scene. Bam, there's my screen. This is the howitallworks.com. Hands down the best production on YouTube. Simply Ball Dropping Podcast is in the building. What's going on, fam? Thank you so much for being here. Listen, I don't have a guest tonight, so I can take my time and just kind of, greet people as they come in. Kerwin Bornell is putting that link in the comment section. Thank you so much, Kerwin, for doing that. That is the link. I am going to give you what you need tonight in terms of remote production, but I want to make sure you guys get a chance to check out the course there as well. So this is howitallworks.com. I'm saying this literally every week. All right. It's part of my announcement section. Y'all go and bookmark this site. It is updated every week. So what was David Harvey talking about? He was talking about this right here. Studio takeover and pop-up live stream in Philadelphia. You need to check this out. Stephen Woods, after you guys dropped me off at the hotel on Saturday afternoon, I called up Keith Pelzer and India Delgado, 2 people from the Ecamm community, and we were able to meet up and go over to Keith's house. That's the 3 of us in that picture right in the middle there. We were able to meet up, go over to Keith's house, and we got a chance to see his studio. You will see all of that in this video. Don't watch it right now, but definitely get it when you get a chance. Definitely check it out when you get a chance. So on this page, this is why I'm always telling people to bookmark it. You have the latest live show, one of our latest YouTube videos, which in this case we just put in the pop-up remote live stream. Pop-up live stream studio takeover, right? And then you also have my Amazon Live stuff. And we were actually live on Amazon today doing some deals and recommendations. That was a total vibe on Saturday. Come on. Come through. Yo, YHWH says, I've got my pen and paper. I love it. But I want to make sure we get the news as well. But yes, everything that you want to know about how it all works is on this page. And let me tell you guys something. There will be no show. Let me go back one because I want to make sure you got. There's no show next Monday. Next Monday is the 5th Monday of the month. We do not have anything planned. I am actually going to be at a conference. I would normally do like an Amazon Live in that time slot, but I will not be available. There's no show next Monday, so I want to make sure you guys get a chance to know that. I may just do like a little, premiere of something just to hold my time slot and keep my show in the top of your mind. But there is no live show next Monday. We have a live show coming on the 1st of November, and I had a cancellation, so I'm nailing down that person right now. I've got somebody that said yes. I'm actually waiting to hear back from one other person. We may actually have 2 guests that first Monday of November, but I wanted to make sure you guys know that next Monday, which is the last Monday of October, next Monday, we won't have a show. So yeah. David Harvey says, India, Keith, and Kirk, it was definitely worth the watch. Thank you so much. Fam, let's get into the news.
Your number one source for live video news.
All right. Listen, first up in the news. In fact, you guys need to take a note on this one because there is something coming. I'm gonna be doing a video I watched this. So we had Anthony Santana on last week. That's the guy in the picture right next to me right here. We had Anthony on last week. He was our guest last week for our Convos and Collabs episode for the month of October. He was our guest, and he talked about, so I shared in the news that StreamYard had just released this video trimming and video splitting feature, right? And I explained how that thing worked. And then he said at the end of the show, he's like, actually, EV Mux is about to release a video trimming feature. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. In my mind, I'm thinking they're the same feature. I'm thinking StreamYard released a feature and EV Mux released a feature basically at the same time. We're talking about like within a week, 2 weeks of one another. So there's no way there could be copycat, because the way that this thing works, you have to build that joint into the platform. So they've been both working on this thing for a while. And I'm thinking, because the names are very similar, video trimming, splitting, video trimming, I'm thinking that these are the same feature. This is not the same feature. I want you guys to understand what the feature, that function that StreamYard put out is completely different. I mean, completely different than what EV Mux put out. Two totally different features that function completely different, but they have the exact same name. So I'll be putting out a video talking about the difference between video trimming in StreamYard and video trimming in EV Mux. Look for that in another week or so. I was already working on a video trimming video for StreamYard. And I'm just going to try and mash that thing up. I've already edited the script. I've talked to my video guy. So we're going to get that thing together. But look out for this. This is a great feature. The way they've implemented it, it's in your pro scenes, and you can take any clip, basically any clip, and you can trim that thing down, and you can play just the piece of the video that you want to play for your live show. That's the way that it works for EV Mux. Whereas for StreamYard, it's actually a part of the repurposing structure. So once your live show is done, you can go into your library of videos and you can actually trim pieces of that out and pull that down for repurposing. What's going on, Professional Reimbursement Network? Always good to have you. Truly appreciate you coming through and hanging out. Want to make sure you guys are sharing this thing. 19 of you guys on the live. Video trimming from EV Mux. Absolute game changer. You're going to want to see that video. Make sure you're subscribed. We also want to talk to you about Frame.io. Now, Frame.io is something that I use. Which brand is more advanced on the feature? Give us a hint. It's going to be... the reason, all right, let me say it this way, Kerwin. The reason why they're named the same is because they actually do the same thing, but they are for two different purposes. So it's going to be up to the person, depending on what the person is most, like what's your top priority. If repurposing is your top priority, then the way that StreamYard did it is probably going to be a little bit better for you. But if you're a person who's like, no, I want to include this video in my live show, then the way EV Mux did the video is going to be better for you. That's the way I would answer that question. Thank you so much for the question, Kerwin. Always keeping me on my toes, man. Listen, Frame.io is the platform that I use for video. Okay. My video editor, my video team upload content to Frame.io, either for me to check and provide feedback at the timestamp that it works, or all those good little things, right? Frame.io was purchased by Adobe, and so it is fully integrated with Adobe Premiere as an editing software. But here's the thing, because they've integrated it in a way that you can actually edit the content in the cloud. You can upload your videos to the cloud and Adobe Premiere can actually access those videos, and you can edit them on the timeline all in the cloud. What they've done now, as you can see from the headline, you now have camera to cloud. And so camera to cloud is something that they released a month or two ago, earlier this year, I should say. But now they've integrated it into two additional camera lines, and that's the Red camera line and the Fujifilm camera line. They will have integration into the cameras where if your camera is connected to internet, it will save the footage that you're recording live to the cloud. Like what? So this, and then of course that just quicker to edit, quicker to get to the final product quicker, to get to the first revision quicker. This thing is awesome. Make sure you guys check out frame.io.com. Frame.io, sorry, not .com. Frame.io. Check them out. Go to the blog, and they have a whole write-up on this. They've got a video on this. This thing is crazy. I'm going to be sharing this in my story on YouTube. So, yeah, Seesaw Studios knows what I'm talking about. This is huge, y'all. Like, in terms of workflow, in terms of all of the things, this is massive. So I want to make sure you guys are able to take advantage of this. Frame.io, working in conjunction with Adobe Premiere, and then of course this whole cloud functionality that is now integrated directly into Red cameras and Fujifilm cameras, and there's a couple others, but these are the two newest ones that they just put out information on. So that's one of our things, camera to cloud. The next thing I want to share with you guys, I think I talked about GoBox Studio in one of our previous videos, in one of our previous news segments. I was talking about what if you could just roll in with a whole mobile studio. But their site wasn't done yet. There were so many different things that they were still working on. So I'm bringing it back to you again because they now have a very high quality website, goboxstudio.com. One of those Pelican case type joints, military grade. You can see it there on the screen. Internet connection, you plug that in. It's got the lights, it's got the camera, everything just folds out. You have your own table. Only thing you've got to bring is a laptop. You bring your laptop, put that down. You have everything else ready to go. So goboxstudio.com, definitely worth checking it out. And watch that space. Watch that space. It may be out of your range right now, but keep watching this space because this is something that you're going to want to know. Listen, in the news, we want to highlight this for you guys. The Vocaster Pro, this is Focusrite's new audio interface. It is their latest audio interface. Let me say it that way. So the Vocaster is not new. I know that you guys are like, hey, Kirk, this is not that new. Here's what's new. Now, some people have never heard of the Vocaster. So, and I'm not saying Rodecaster. I'm not saying Procaster. I'm saying Vocaster, the Vocaster from Focusrite. This is the joint right here. And I'm telling you guys, man, they have taken $50 off both the 1 and the 2, Vocaster 1 and 2. You can see both of them on the screen right there, but you're going to want to check this out. Literally, you can get one for $160 right now. For a Focusrite audio interface like the Vocaster, which has all kinds of functions and features. If you install the software, you can even have your own loopback type joint on there. This is something we need to keep in our minds. I'm always trying to find things that I can recommend to people that will help them to get across the line in terms of what they're looking for. This is a solution, and it's right in that price point, right in the middle of the marketplace. It's still very full featured, but it's built to sell, y'all. And they've taken $50 off of it. You guys are going to want to make sure that you get your hands on one. If you're in the market for one, don't miss this sale. Don't miss this sale. All right. Our final thing in the news, and I have 2 slides on this. Our final thing in the news. Listen, the industry's first vertical PTZ camera, the industry's first vertical PTZ camera for vertical content creators and live streaming. This thing works with your phone. It works with Instagram. It works with TikTok. It works with YouTube Shorts. It works with Snapchat. What? What? Like, Kerwin, did we ever think that we were ever going to say those words together? Vertical PTZ camera? What? I am blown away by this. I am doing a deep dive. YOLO has my attention. YOLO, I am sitting front and center right now. And I want to say this to all the YOLO folks who may watch the replay. Y'all go ahead and tag YOLO in the chat right now. What does a brother have to do to test one of these out? Like, send me one. I want to be a tester. Send me one. I want to test this out for you. YOLO, your boy Kirk is pleading. Send me a camera. YOLO, I'm on bended knees begging. No. I listen, YOLO, what does one need to do to get one of these? Y'all tag YOLO in the chat, man. Listen, YOLOlive.com/ YOLOLive.com/Verticam. YOLOLive.com/Verticam. Kerwin says, I would love that when we go to trade shows. Yes, listen, YOLOLive.com, YOLOLive.com/Verticam. The link is right below the camera right next to me. I want to make sure you guys get that. Pro level quality, full HD 1080p 60, 12x optical zoom. It is born vertical, super easy to use, one and only. And they say really affordable. I don't know what the price is, but it's got the pan tilt zoom on there as well, man. Guys. YOLO, if you are listening, your boy Kirk is saying, let me test it for you. I have client projects to test this on. So I definitely want to definitely get my hands on one. If it's affordable, I may just avoid and purchase one and build it into one of my next projects. But listen, this is the news. I want to make sure you guys catch this stuff. EV Mux trimming, Frame.io, camera to cloud, the GoBox Studio. What if you could just bring your studio right in a Pelican case? Vocaster 1 and 2 are $50 off. The one is starting at $160. You want to make sure you take advantage of that if you're in the market. Then, of course, the Verticam from YOLO Live. This is the world's first PTZ vertical camera. And that, my friends, is the news. The main event, the main thing you came for tonight is up next. There is no guest. I literally have the same glasses, beanie, t-shirt on that is in the picture. This is your remote production tips. You want to be here. Make sure your pen and paper is out. Let's go. David Harvey, listen, we talked about the 1F last week during the news section, and I think listen, that beat when the beat drops, I'm just like, what am I doing with my life again? Listen, the Sony ZV-1 is priced to sell. They are taking over the market share. They're putting so much space in between them and anybody else in terms of live video, in terms of content creators, in terms of vlogging. It's going to become a point where it's like, yeah, you didn't do it the way that Sony did it. So I just feel like it's great for its price point. It's great for people who are getting in, great for people like me who want just another camera to kind of walk around with. That's the space that I think the Sony ZV-1F sits in. Let me get into my presentation for today. 7:20. We're at 7:20. I've got 4 tips and a bonus. 4 tips for remote producers. I want to say this at the outset. A remote producer is somebody who helps manage a live show or a broadcast or a podcast. Right? Helps to manage it. All of the moving parts. They get all the guests into the studio. They do the overlays and the graphics. They do the comments. They basically they run the show based on a run. They run the show based on a run of show. A remote producer is essentially your man behind the scenes. And why we call it remote is because for those who are doing live video like I'm doing right now, I don't have to be in the same place in order to produce that show. I have done on-site production. That is different than remote production. I bring the client, I bring the guest, I bring the host, I bring the talent, whatever you want to call them, into the studio, and we broadcast their show. a remote producer should be considered for anybody that is in a space of, listen, I have a concept, I have an idea, I have value that I want to get out there. Maybe I'm a coach, I'm an author, I'm a consultant. Maybe I'm a small business and my product/service is revolutionary, but it's not well known. You want to have a live show. You want to have content. You want to be able to engage an audience live. This is where live video strategy comes in. And I'm not going to dive too deep on that, but you want to do that. And as a entrepreneur, small business, coach, consultant, some of you may have the ability to learn how to produce your show yourself. And this is why I always say to folks at How It All Works, at Composition, the company, my wife and I's company, we do both done for you and do it yourself. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, that's what this channel is all about. All the content that we put out on here, we help people learn how to do their own live shows for themselves. But there are those who are saying, you know what? I want to focus on the value. I want to focus on presenting. It's the difference between being a speaker at an event where everything is set up for you and you just go on stage and kill it, and actually creating the event and doing all the things yourself, right? This is what I mean when I say done for you and DIY. So for the person who's like, no, put me in front of the camera, get me an audience, I will deliver. Those are the people that I want to speak to right now. You probably need a remote producer. You need to at least consider a remote producer. And for those folks, I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to take an opportunity to do a discovery call with either myself or another remote producer. Just sit down with them, understand what a remote producer can do for you, for your podcast, whether it's video or audio, for your live show or web show, even for content. Here's the critical piece I want people to understand. You can get everything from live video. You cannot get live video from any other piece of content. You can get everything from live video, but you can't. Look at my girl, India Delgado is in the joint. What's good? What is good? Completely messed up my whole train of thought. She says, yerp, what's popping? What's popping? Thank you so much for coming through. You can get quote memes, audiograms, you can get a podcast, you can get a blog post, you can get even short form vertical video from a live video, but you cannot get any of the above. You cannot get live video from any of the above. I said that wrong. But the point is, live video is at the top of the content creation triangle. And if you do a live video, you can then repurpose into all these other categories. I've got clients who do a live to tape. And in that live to tape, they have a small audience in Zoom, very small audience in Zoom. And they do that video and they share with everybody what's happening. They have their value. They share their critical points. And then the team takes that, chops it up, makes it into a YouTube video, makes it into a short or a reel or an audiogram, makes it into a podcast. They tag both business. You get my point. If you want to go down that path as an entrepreneur, as a small business coach, consultant, author, you may want a remote producer, because what a remote producer does is they take all the tech work out of your hands and put it into their own. Some remote producers will even schedule the post on your social media. Some remote producers, just depending on how you engage with them. Today's presentation, today's show, we're going to talk about 4 tips for remote producers, but I wanted to start off by defining what a remote producer is. A remote producer produces a show remotely from probably their home studio, like where I'm at right now, or from a central location that they have, double internet, right? Because I've got redundant internet here. I'm doing shows for clients. I got to have redundant internet. All the assets are here. I have backup producers. You saw Gary Jones in the chat. A remote producer helps to take some of the guesswork out, take some of the tech work out, allows you to just show up and deliver on the value proposition that you've given to your audience. Value proposition, meaning today's show is called 4 tips for remote producers. And now that I've defined what a remote producer is, let's get into the tips. Tip number one, gain clarity. Tip number one. I'm going to just say this right at the outset, guys. If you're looking for as a remote producer, you're going to want to make sure you have a certain amount of megapixels in your camera. You're going to want to make sure you have this amount of internet speed at your house. That if you're looking for the technical, you're in the wrong presentation. The technical side is generally not where I can give you tips. It is what it is. But these four are going to help orchestrate and organize all of the technical pieces of what you're going to do. Tip number one, gain clarity. Tip number one is gain clarity. Listen, you want to sit down. This is why I said earlier, you want to have a discovery call with these potential clients. Commit to nothing until you have gained clarity. And by clarity, it's a two-way street. You want to make sure that the client understands what you provide. I will go this far and no further. And you need to understand as the producer what the client is looking for. What is the end goal? What is our overarching purpose for this show? Whether it's once off, it's a 2-hour summit, or it's a weekly, multi-week, 2 times a week live show, whatever that might be, you want to make sure you get that thing together. What we got here? Oh, okay. Set up a call. Thank you so much. KirkRNugent.live/book me. Gain clarity. Tip number one, gain clarity. One of the things I like to do because I need to gain clarity is I like to gauge the client's technical aptitude. That's just a big term for saying, are they able to work the tech? Are they able to, I'm going to set up a whole design. I'm going to make this thing jump and dance and sing, and it's going to look so dope. But if their camera is no good, what is their technical aptitude and what is their appetite towards technology? No, I don't really want to do that. Can I just use the webcam on my laptop? Oh, see, now it's becoming clear. You see, this is what I mean by gaining clarity. When you hear somebody say something, what do I have to wear headphones? Oh, it's becoming clear. Gain clarity. I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard from remote producers who have run into all manner of issues. People don't want to pay. People don't give them the assets. They don't give them any logos, nothing. And they expect you to work a miracle. The most of these issues stem from not having clarity before entering into the project. What is your purpose? What is your goal? What is your appetite towards technology? Are you averse? Some people are looking for a remote producer because they not only not want to deal with the tech, they don't like tech. And so when you find that out, it behooves you to say, is this going to be worth my time, effort, and energy? Because this person may not actually have the same vision I have for this project. You want to gain clarity. Here's the final piece for gaining clarity. You want to share examples with one another. I always ask the client, send me some examples of what you're looking for. Some things that you've seen that you like, or some things that you see that you don't like. Give me some examples. I always ask for that first because I don't want to send them my examples and have them say, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. No. I want to hear from them not only the goal and the purpose and what is their appetite and aptitude towards technology, but I also want to hear from them, how technical do you want this to be? There are clients who have sent me videos saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And they're sending me like some ESPN type joint. And I'm like, whoa. So what do you want to put in the ticker? What do you want? What do you want moving over here? Do you have a score? Like, what? This is what you want? And in some of those cases, I've had to back out because once it became clear that I can't deliver, I'm getting into another tip here, but once it became clear that I can't deliver what they're looking for, I decided to back out. Sharing samples and examples is critical to gaining clarity. Tip number 1, gain clarity. Tip number 2, and I mentioned it already, I am's what I am's and I ain't what I ain't. Your boy Popeye said it best, y'all. That's my dude Popeye on screen, y'all. Popeye said it best. I am what I am. I ain't what I ain't. Do not try to fit yourself into their box. I said this during the remote production class. You cannot squeeze your value into your client's budget. Oh man, I just hope that somebody's catching this thing here tonight, man. Kubi TV is laughing with me. Come on, Kubi, come on. You cannot, I'm gonna say it one more time. I want you to grasp this thing. You cannot squeeze your value into someone's budget. My price is my price. I am what I am. I am not what I'm not. I had a situation where a lady says to me, man, I can't believe you're doing all this for that price. You know, we got a quote from somebody else and they were charging da 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 da. And I said, ma'am, maybe you, if that's the production you're looking for, then maybe you need to go with that producer, because I am what I am and I ain't what I ain't. You cannot listen, India. We could do a whole run on that. You cannot squeeze your value. And here's the flip side of it. If somebody's looking, I'm going to be clear, guys. As a remote producer, you got to know yourself. You cannot lie and say, I cannot. You have to watch this thing. I want to make this thing so clear for folks, man. There are so many times where folks are like, well, somebody's asking for it, just tell them you can do it and learn it. That works for some people. That does not work for everyone. And I think having done this so many times, I cannot count. I am telling you, there are times where somebody wanted something that I was like, I haven't done that before, but I can definitely incorporate it. And at the end of the day, it was so much work that I was like, this is totally not worth it. I am what I am. I ain't what I ain't. I know that's not proper English, but we got Popeye on the screen and your boy got his spinach joint out there, so it don't matter. I am what I am. These are my structured packages. You don't want package A, B, or C. Maybe you want package B with a little bit of package C. Here are my a la carte prices. You said you want me to do what? You want me to repurpose the video? You want me to cut it up into video snippets afterwards? Sorry, we don't do that, because I am what I am. Some people are like, why don't you bolt that onto your business? I've tried it. It's not worth it. That's for somebody else enjoys doing that stuff. I don't. So I'm not doing it because I don't know how. I'm not doing it because I don't feel that Kirk's secret sauce is activated in doing that part. You got to know you. And if you ever heard me speak, if you ever heard me present, you've ever heard me do anything like, you probably know this is one of my favorite sayings. You got to get a PhD in you. Do not let somebody else try to mold you into what they're looking for. Well, I need my producer to do this, 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 this. Okay, then you're not looking for me. Oh, what? Wait, you don't do that? No, I don't do those. Say it and be quiet. No, I don't do those. Let me see if I can refer you to one or two other guys. I think maybe they might be a better fit for you. Well, hold on. Maybe let's start, because I'm flexible. No, you're not, actually, because you've already defined for me what a win looks like, and I can't get you across the line. So all I'm going to be doing now is setting myself up for a bad review, trying to make it fit. All clients are not your client. Come on, y'all. Come on. I am what I am. I ain't what I ain't. Justice Anderson says that's value of advice. It took me years and years to stop discounting and stop doing things for the experience. Experience don't pay no bills. Okay. Y'all got me on my horse here. The pregnant pause, that's crucial for the salesperson. And it is so difficult to fill that quiet dead air. But sometimes you got to drop the mic and stay quiet. That's it, India. That's it. All clients are not your client. All clients are not for you. The discovery call and gaining clarity is super critical. Super critical. And if you walk into that discovery call not knowing what you are, who you are, and the value you have to offer, then you will allow them to mold you into whatever they are looking for. And you're just going to look like everybody else. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my all into it. I want to put my secret sauce on it. I want to sprinkle that. Listen, there are shows that I have produced where somebody in the comments will see the show and send me a private text message because they have my number and say, hey, are you producing this show I'm watching right now? And I'll be like, yeah, how did you know? It just felt like a Kirk production. It felt like the way you do comments, the way you organize and orchestrate a show. It just felt like you. I can't compromise that. So when I walk into the discovery call, I walk in with, I am what I am. I am what I am. And I ain't what I ain't. And I make no promises to mold myself into your vision of what a producer should be. We glossed over the price part at the beginning. It cannot be overstated. You cannot squeeze your value into a client's budget. If they cannot afford you, they're not ready for your level of quality. I had a client that I gave a discount to because they came through a friend. So they got that discount on the initial project. After the initial project was done, they were like, yo, your stuff is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not looking for any other producers. I'm looking for you. I want you to listen to that sentence. I'm not looking for any other producers. I'm looking for you. I want you to listen to that sentence. Let me say it one more time. I'm not looking for any other producers. I'm looking for you. I'm not looking for any other producer. I got folks in the comments here. Help me moderate this stuff, fam. I'm not looking for any other producers. I'm looking for you. And so when he came back and said, hey, we want you to do this next project. And I was like, all right, bet, I'm going to give you a quote. I gave him the quote. And he's like, man, I was hoping that we could do, similar pricing to the first go round. I was like, no, that was the pricing you got because you came through a friend. He's like, man, this is kind of outside of my budget. Is there anything we can do? I was like, no, that's actually the price. And you knew that because on your original invoice for the first project, it was discounted. It showed that it was discounted. So you knew what the price was and you knew you weren't getting a discount on this side. So it is what it is. He was like, all right, well, we have to part ways amicably. He came back like 2 months later. He's like, Kirk, I tried another producer. I'm not interested in another producer. I'm not looking for any producer. I'm looking for you. You want to create a scenario as a producer where when your clients, oh my God, I got a podcast coming out with Stephanie Liu. Y'all need to make sure you are subscribed. You are following that podcast because that episode of the podcast is going to be dope. And one of the things that she said in that joint, just a little preview, you want to create a scenario where your clients, your remote production clients, forget about the technical. Their security blanket in the live space is you. This is an extra. That's not even a tip. This is extra. This is extra. This is extra. Yesterday's price is not today's price, Kerwin Bornell. I am what I am, and I bring all of me unapologetically everywhere I go. And I want to go to places that I'm celebrated. I want to go to places where people want me. Tip number 2. I am what I am. I ain't what I ain't. Tip number 3. Oh my goodness. Practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. Do I always provide a one-time discount on referral? Because of the way that they were referred, they got that discount. But that's not something that I always do. It's the way that they were referred. I was on a program and I said, hey, anybody that comes through my guy here, we're going to give you this discount for coming through. And they did. And they came through that guy and they came with that discount code. So I don't always do that. But in this particular case, he came with the right code and it was there, it was clear. But I like that question, Jim. I know we're in a very similar space. So I'm excited for that comment. And I know we're going to have some robust feedback when we get to the comment section. This is tip number 3, y'all. Where are we at? 742. Tip number 3. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes incrementally better. Practice makes permanent if you do it enough. Tip number 3 for my remote producers out there, and I'm saying this with all love and respect, stop practicing on your client show. Stop practicing when it's go time. Stop practicing. I'm in the faith-based space. So every single week, I am producing a show for my church for free. But it's not free because I get to practice. Stop practicing on your client's live project. Stop practicing with the product that is supposed to get you more business. If you're practicing, oh my God. Oh, if you're practicing at game time, right? Then how do the recruiters who are going to be your next client know that you can dunk? Like if you're practicing at game time, how do they know that you know what I'm saying? They don't get to see your best work. People, the transitions don't just happen. Click here, click here, click here. It does. Stop practicing when it's go time. You have the tech check, you have a client review, you have a producer walkthrough, you can build in extra scenes and things because you've practiced. How am I going to get from here to this scene, which is next on my run sheet? You shouldn't be figuring that out live during the show. You should have figured that out during practice. Yeah, Apple doesn't give discounts, referral or no referral. Apple prices are their prices. No matter how much we complain to this day, they have no issues with sales. You are so right. Practice makes permanent. Listen, Kobe Bryant's personal trainer used to say, man, I tried every day. I would go to the gym just a little bit earlier to see if I could get there before Kobe. I just go, let me come in let me just a few more minutes early. And he's there. A few more minutes early. And he's there. A few more minutes early. And he's there. And he's trying to figure out, Kobe, what time do you get in here? He said, I got to get here earlier. What time is early? He said, whatever it takes to get here earlier is going to give me the edge to be better. I got to get into practice because practice doesn't only make incrementally better, practice makes permanent. It's not just for those who are in high performance sports. It's not just for those who are in business and CEOs and financial executives. It is also for the live streamer and the producer. My family and I love this show called Tough as Nails. I'm looking at my notes and it says Tough as Nails story. And there's a guy on the show that if you know what the show is about, I'm not going to go into the whole background of the show, but there was a guy on the show who he is the fastest sheet rocker, if that's a term, in the country. and they showed him put sheetrock up and mud that bad boy, and he was on stilts by himself. He sheetrocked an entire room, top and bottom, a whole stack of sheetrock by himself in less than 20 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Jip, 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 jip. The man said, I have thousands of hours of practice. And every time I went to sheetrock a room, I figured out a way to just get a little bit better. Practice not only makes incrementally better, practice makes permanent. It's muscle memory for him now. Flip the board this way. I can lift it up by myself. I can pull it over to the side. I can shift it this way, hold this side, zip, zip, make sure I nail the top ones first. It seems like it's just random and haphazard because he's doing it so quickly to the rest of us, but he has a method to his madness, and his madness produces a masterpiece every single time with consistency, because practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. You want to do a check with your client. You want to make sure that after you've created all the assets for the live show, the live product, the live project, that you go through it with, don't let the client see the assets for the first time during the live show. Let them sign off on it. Let them have input in it so that there is no shock. There are times when I'm showing the client in review some of the assets and they're saying, you know what, we could probably shift this around in the run sheet to give this asset that you've created more prominence, to give it, allow it to breathe. This is so good. Thank you so much for this. Now I've got ideas just running through my head. What if we shifted this here? What if we did this? The client review is a part of practice. The tech check is part of practice. Okay, is this where you're going to be for the live show? Yes. I think we need to raise that camera up a little bit. Is there any way we can get more lights? No. Well, I don't have any lights here. Can you go to Best Buy today? Yes, I can. You can't do that on the day of. You could do that during practice. Doing the producer walkthrough, right? Your own walkthrough where you do the entire live show by yourself with no client, no guests, into a private Facebook group or into an unlisted YouTube. You produce the entire show just to see your process for going from one scene to the next and making sure it's ironclad. Yeah, that's practice. It makes permanent. And here's my final. I'm about to go over time now. For the love of God, give them the pickle. Give them the pickle, y'all. Y'all, give them the pickle. That some people say it this way. Under promise and over deliver. I had an old boss. I live in Alabama, and listen, some of these folks, they have, that Southern drawl is real, y'all. There's nothing, there's nothing. I'm not trying to draw any negative aspersions to this thing. I have come to realize that this is just a way that they speak. It's like any other accent on the globe, on the planet, and so that Southern drawl is real. Highly intelligent people. That Southern drawl is real. And I was talking to my boss, and he was talking about this IT thing that we were doing, and he was like, Kirk, just give him the pickle. And what he was talking about is go the extra mile. Just do the extra thing. Listen, I want to say this. I am what I am. My packages are my packages. My prices are my prices. You're going to get what you paid for. But actually, you're not going to get what you paid for, because every single project that we do at Composition, we sprinkle in something extra. There are times where a client will say to me, hey, I was thinking about doing this. And I'm like, okay, let me just add that to your invoice and we'll see how that changes the balance. And when we do that, and the client will say, you know what, that's outside of budget. So let's just hold off. Let's do that on the next project. Let's not do it this time. And I will make note of it. Note made. Because if there's any way I can include that thing in there for them as a surprise, that's me giving them the pickle. That's me under promising and over delivering. When people use the term under promise, over deliver, that's the reason why that's not what's on the screen. What's on the screen is giving the pickle. The reason for that is because when people say that phrase, a lot of times they get into, it's like you want to give them the bare minimum, under promise. It's something that denotes, I don't know what that is. It's like there's a negative connotation that has just been attached to that thing, under promise. No. I am going to clearly define, make sure we're both clear on what it is my team's going to be doing. And I want to make sure that if there's any way I can go above and beyond, then I'll do that. My boss used to say, listen to me. I want to, don't miss me on this one, y'all. 23 of you guys watching on the live right now. My boss used to say, listen to this, y'all. My boss used to say, this is in South Africa. He's a Zambian guy. His name is Goodwill Ntani. He used to say, you can only get extra credit for extra work if the regular promised work product is done. So you cannot give them the pickle if you didn't deliver on a good project. You can't over deliver if you didn't do the basics. It's just work. And worse, it's work that nobody asked you to do. As a remote producer, you want to be able to give them something unique. You want to give them something special. To the point where they're guessing like, man, I wonder what they're going to do next. My wife does this thing for her webs. When she launches a website for a client, she does web design. When she launches a website for a client, she sends them this swag box. They don't know it's coming. There's a video on Instagram right now from a client project that she just launched, and the lady got the box and she was dumbfounded. Took a quick reel of her unboxing the thing. She just overjoyed. She gave them the pickle. She over delivered. She gave them something they were not expecting. She created an experience that this new business, this entrepreneur, this author, coach, consultant, speaker, they will never forget. You want to make sure, as a remote producer, you give them something special. And I want to give you, as a bonus, right? As a bonus, I want to give you some ideas for those extras. This is the last, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Mercy. I thought we were going to have more time to do Q&A. Here's some ideas for extras. Here's an idea for an extra. One of the things that I do in my bumper videos, I put applause. Like for my summits and events where you're bringing different speakers on screen at different times, I do bumper videos in between each speaker to denote that this new speaker is coming on screen. I also do that because it's like a marker in the long form video for my client or their video team to clip out that section and have that one speaker's video almost like a small video within a video. So I play this bumper. Person comes on screen. The client already knew they were getting a bumper. They already knew they were getting a bumper. But what I do is at the end of that bumper, I put applause. So when that person comes on screen, they come on screen as if there was a live audience applauding them. I had one client after she came on, after we played the bumper and she came on screen with the host, who was my client. So the host is my client, but she had the speaker. When the lady came on screen after hearing that applause, she was overcome and literally had tears streaming down her face. She's like, I have never been introduced so warmly. I have never been introduced so warmly. Ideas for extras. Thank you so much, JJSH Tech. Ideas for extras. I do credits in my outro. Ideas for extras. Your stream flyer or thumbnail, if you design it properly, can also double as a flyer for the event. I have to make a thumbnail for the event to put in the streaming software to put on the destinations, to place hold and say this is coming. But that same flyer can be used, you see, double purpose for the client to now send to all of these speakers and have them send that to their audiences and lead them back to their platform where this event will happen. Two birds, one stone. I don't have to do extra work. I'm just designing the thumbnail in a way that it will double as a flyer for the event. I do an intro video for the entire show, and the intro video I always do in such a way that it becomes a promo video for the event or for the live show. No dates, so that they can use it multiple times. Oh boy. There's so many other pieces. I introduce them to other people in my network. I have them do things in my mailing list. There are many, many ways that we as producers can engage with a client and create a experience that they will never, ever forget, and have you and refer you to every one of their friends, because they recognize that what you offer is far more than just producing their show. That's it, fam. That's it. Those are my 4 tips and the bonus. 4 tips and a bonus. 4 tips and a bonus. Gain clarity. Understand the purpose, the goal, their technical appetite and aptitude. Share samples back and forth. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, I am who I am and I ain't what I ain't. Here are my structured packages. You don't want package A, B, or C. Here's my a la carte prices. We don't do what we don't do. In my notes, it says you have to guard your yes. I didn't even say that part when we were talking earlier. Practice makes permanent. It makes incrementally better, but it also makes permanent. And as a remote producer, you want to do the tech check. You want to do the client review. You want to make sure there's a producer walkthrough. You want to build extra scenes. You want to make sure you're prepared. Stop practicing on people's live shows. Stop practicing when it's game time. Practice at practice so that you can deliver on what you know you can do when it's time to go live. And then finally, give them the pickle, for crying out loud. Under promise, over deliver. Create an experience for your client that they will never forget. I is what I is. I ain't what I ain't. Listen, create an experience for your client that they will never forget. And listen, fam, if you're interested in getting the full, this is just the 4 tips. There's a 2-hour remote production course that you may want to go ahead and check out. Some of this is in there, but a lot of this is a small tidbit of what's in the course, and I want to make sure you guys are able to take advantage of that. I'm going to open it up, if you guys don't mind. I know we're at our 8 o'clock time frame, but I'm going to open it up for some questions and comments. If you guys have any, I would love to be able to field some of your questions and comments. This has been an awesome time to just kind of share. I see JJSH Tech says, gems, I'm not interested in remote producing, LOL, but these gems will be added to my repertoire. Thank you so much, JJSH Tech. I appreciate that. I always try to set up my tips in a way that you can use them and apply them to whatever your vocation or discipline is. In this case, we're talking about remote production. But listen, whatever your thing is, if you're not practicing, I don't know how you're going to make it. Any questions out there before we close this thing out? Man, listen, got a lot of things coming down the pike. Like I said, we got this new video coming up where we're going to be highlighting the video trimming feature. We got some other platforms. I, in fact, met with another platform today that I cannot name them. They actually have not launched. It's a live streaming platform. They haven't even launched yet. And they're adding me to their private beta, and I'll be doing some testing on that and providing them some feedback. I love this space. One of the things that somebody told me when I decided I'm not going to only cover one particular platform, I'm going to cover everything that has to do with live streaming, and including all of the different platforms and options, functions, and features that are out there. Somebody said to me, man, if you do that, you will not have anything specific that you can then take to the brand and have them pay you. I said, if that is the cost of doing it this way, I don't mind that. And what has ended up happening is that now people recognize that I'm equal opportunity. I will talk about the benefits and the pitfalls, right? The pros and the cons of any platform. And because of that, I have a list of platforms messaging me saying, hey, we want you to test ours. We want you to test ours because we know you'll give us a fair shake. Regardless, if you don't like it, if you do like it, we know you're going to give us an honest, fair shake. So we want you to test ours. Something to be said for I am what I am. For holding to what you have in your mind to do. I don't want to do it the way that other people do it. I want to do it the way that I have in mind to do it for myself. I may not get the big brand deal from, insert name here, streaming platform. I may not get that, sponsorship. But I will be able to do the things I love to do. And one of the things I absolutely love to do is to do product testing, to dive in there and look at a product and say, oh, this does this, this does this. Some really dope things that are coming down the pike. Some of it I can't mention, some of it that I can. And Fusion Marketing says, I agree. Each platform has its pros and cons. It's true. It's true. And yes, I'm using Ecamm right now. I love Ecamm. Does Ecamm have its cons? Absolutely. Absolutely. But everybody has to make that decision for themselves. And on my channel, one of the things I like to do is make sure we give you the tools, tips, tricks, best practices for any of the platforms so that whichever one works best for you, you can still find resources here. Thank you guys. I want to thank you guys so much. There's 17 of you guys hanging out with us still. I see the numbers are starting to dip, and that's okay because we're over our time, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of your way. But I just want to thank you guys so much for spending this time with me. If you know somebody that needs to hear these 4 tips, go ahead and share that video. As my moderators always say, if the thumb on your screen is transparent, go ahead and make it solid. But what we mean is go ahead and hit that like button. If you are new, if you just kind of stumbled in, you came for this particular one, maybe you came for a previous show and you got that notification, oh, I think Kirk is live again. I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to subscribe. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We want you as part of the community. I want to thank you guys for your time and attention. Your time is your top commodity, and I do not take it for granted that you have given me an hour and more of that time today. It's your boy, Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher, thanking you for your time and attention, hoping that somewhere in the video today, you're able to figure out how it all works. And we'll see you, family, in the next video. Replay Squad, you know what it is. Make sure you hit one of these, I'm pointing the wrong way, one of these videos right here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's figure out how it all works, family.